I'm going to do an unboxing of this Sony 4K camera. It's a mini camcorder for live streaming, vlogging, any type of IRL live streaming. So let me just explain real quick why I'm taking a look at this and going to test it out. Hey, Michael, great to see you. Michael Joseph Murray is watching on Facebook. So when I go live from the LiveU Solo, which bonds together multiple cell connections and basically lets you go live from just about anywhere, everything runs through the camera and then out of an HDMI into the LiveU Solo. So when I'm sitting at a table or using a full-length tripod like this, let's say a mini tripod like this or a full-length tripod, but if I'm sitting at the table, I put my mixer on that. I'm not sure you can see that. And then on top of my mixer goes the camcorder, and then I use a handheld mic. So basically it's a lot of gear, and then there's tons of wires. No, I didn't go to B&H afterwards. I actually waited till Friday, and I ran over to Best Buy near me and picked it up. But usually I do get most of my gear from B&H, but I just couldn't wait. I just couldn't wait to check it out. Of course, now I've waited a day because I have to do an unboxing video because that's the rules when you get any kind of new gear. So in addition to having a setup that's kind of complicated, where you have a mixer and recorder, and then on top of that a camera, and you're using a handheld mic, obviously when you're doing things on the move, on the go, IRL style, or a walk and talk kind of video, or any kind of event where you have to move around a lot. Hey, John, good to see you. It's really difficult when you're balancing all that gear and all those different wires. You've got wires coming from the mixer to the camera, from the camera to the LiveU. You got microphone, so you've got a wire from that into the mixer, and so on and so forth. So it's a lot to balance and carry around when you're not stationary. So when I was at Vid Summit, I saw our buddy Dan Norton, who's in the Instagram chat, was using a little Sony camera, a little action camera that I had never seen before. That was part of Daryl Eve's 24/5 live stream at Vid Summit. And the guys, actually, it was David Foster from Geeks Life and Live Streaming Pros who hooked up Daryl with his backpack rig that he carried around. And it was basically, hey, Todd.live, good to see you. It was basically just a monopod, a thin light monopod with a little camera on it. No external microphone, no other gear, and the audio was pretty good. The video was really good. It goes in 4K. Daniel ended up carrying it around a lot and became super popular on YouTube. He took over the stream for about 22 minutes. So I said to myself, I got to try this. And I watched the reviews. David and Luria, Live Streaming Pros, had a few reviews on it. I talked to a few people, and I said, I got to try this. So anyway, this should give me the ability to do a lot of live streams where I just go right from the camera into the LiveU Solo and out without needing a lot of gear, which allows me to be mobile and go live more often. David, good to see you on Facebook. Boy, I don't even want to start with the Yankees losing and the Red Sox in the World Series. I know it's hard on us right now, but all right. So here it is. With all that introduction out of the way, this is the Sony 4K action camera. It is, according to some of the reviews I read, really outdoes in a lot of ways the GoPro. So the model number, if you want to look it up, I don't have it on any websites yet because I never do that until I've actually tried something or explored it a little deeper. So it's the Sony FDR-X3000. So let's open it up. and see what's in the box. Let's see if there's anything interesting on the box. So when you pick up an order, they slap this tag right over the gear. But it mentions 12 megapixels, time-lapse capture, stereo mic, wind noise reduction built in. There's an app you can use to monitor your video. You can get it from the, you can get that on iTunes or Google Play for Android. It's Wi-Fi enabled and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Let's get to it already. All right. So what do we have here? We have a box like this. Let's see what's inside this. One thing about doing an unboxing, when you're really unboxing it for real, is you have no idea if you're really going to be able to get these boxes open while you're on camera. Hey, B, good to see you. The great B Smith watching on Facebook. We are live on Facebook and Instagram. This is impromptu unboxing of a Sony 4K action camera. So I think this is the camera. I mean, this is the lightest thing I've ever seen. Let's see. And there it is. And as amazingly light as this camera is actually right now in its waterproof casing. And so if you are live streaming and you don't need, let's say you're not in the water or anything, let's see. Let me see if it's easy to take this off or not. But if you don't need this casing, your audio is going to be obviously a lot better because you're probably not going to be talking underwater. And even without this casing on, the cool thing about this camera is that it's still splash resistant. So this is what it looks like. It is really small and light. The monitor on the side is just for changing the menus. Hey, Brad, good to see you. The monitor on the side is just for changing the menus. That's not where you can view what's live. You need to use the mobile app for that. But that's it. That's it. Show you what's on the top. There's your record button. And if you want to record in 4K, you need one of these guys. One of these Extreme Plus micro SD cards with extreme capture, transfer, and app speeds in order to get 4K video. Hey, Mitch Jackson, good to see you watching on Instagram. We are live on Instagram and Facebook. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. So, Mitch and everybody who's just joining, I am checking out a Sony 4K action cam to see how this works. I saw Dan Norton, who's in the chat, using it a lot as part of Daryl's IRL 24/7 live stream from Vid Summit. And instead of going with a ton of gear, I'm thinking this could be a great option when I'm live streaming on the move. So again, this has the waterproof casing on it. So it's actually even smaller and lighter when you take it out of the casing. And I may have to read the directions before I do that, but let's see. All right. Probably will. So let's see. You can connect an HDMI cable. Let's see what's in the back. It's protected by the housing. But basically you can connect, easy for me to say, an HDMI cable. So you can run it into a capture card and into your computer, or you can run the HDMI cable right into the LiveU Solo, which will keep you streaming right from your camera to Facebook or YouTube or Twitch. So you can use it like that. And then there's also an audio port if you want to attach an external microphone. There's no hot shoe or cold shoe or anything, so you got to come up with your own little rig for that. But one of the attractions to this is that the microphone, the stereo built-in microphone, is actually really good. So hopefully you don't even need an external microphone. Tom says, I need a LiveU Solo killer gear. Yeah, love the LiveU Solo. I try and use that whenever I'm at conferences and events where it's tough to get good bandwidth. That really comes in handy. I assume this is if you want to put it on a tripod. It doesn't come with anything else like this. Let's see what else is in the box. Here's your USB to micro or mini USB in order to charge it and to probably transfer your files as well. Let's see what else is in the box. Some instructions. We'll throw that aside. A little sticker. This is Sony Action Cam. There we go. And so nothing but rave reviews on this so far that I've seen. And some more instructions. So that's it. That is the purpose of this, is to just run it from an HDMI cable right into the LiveU Solo and be able to go live from anywhere. And that saves me from having to, when I'm on the move, hold a handheld tripod along with a mixer and a larger camcorder, and then run a microphone into the mixer and have 17 different wires going everywhere. It's a good setup when you are sitting at a table doing an interview, or you have your camera on a standing tripod. But for IRL style on the move events where you're walking around, going up and interviewing people and stuff like that, this is a great option. Hey, Chris Strub, good to see you. Chris Strub joining us on Instagram. We are live on Facebook and Instagram talking about the Sony FDR-X3000. Is it a GoPro killer? That's one of the questions I've seen asked online. I have no idea. I've never used a GoPro. And I'm not so much getting this for action, for capturing underwater stuff. It is in the waterproof casing, or for filming races or anything like that. I'm just getting it because it is so light. It's got good quality picture. It goes up to 4K, and from what I've heard, the built-in mic is outstanding. And I'm sure Dan Norton, who's been in the chat on Instagram, can tell you more about it. Let's see let's take a look at Facebook real quick. Dan Courier says the onboard mic is phenomenal. The only downside of the onboard mic is wind. Yeah, it says it has a built-in wind resistant something or other, Dan, but I think you probably still need to come up with some sort of solution if it's really windy. David asks on Facebook, are there any windscreens for the mic? Not that come with it. If you're going to use a windscreen, you basically need to, I don't think there's anything that fits this, so you probably need to, hey Candy, you probably need to attach an external microphone. There's a 3.5 millimeter input, so you can attach, you could attach a lav mic, you could attach one of the the Rode boom mics or something like that. And then if I wanted to use this on a stationary setup, I could even use the MixPre 3 and a full mixer and handheld mic and all that stuff as well. Dan says would be too hard, I guess, to cut a patch out of the dead cat. Yeah, the dead cat is what they call that puffy thing that they put on microphones like boom mics and stuff when they're outside. Oh, he says it wouldn't be too hard. Okay. Hey, Dan, do you have one of these? Dan, we're talking to Dan Courier on Facebook, chatting with him. So this is the Sony 4K Action Cam that we are talking about. You can find this full video. If you just joined us, this full video will be on the Livestream Universe YouTube channel. You can get there by going to rossbrand.tv. We also have a couple of new videos up from Nick Nimmin that we did at Vid Summit, so check those out. Also, videos talking about the IRL live streaming and the official live stream from Vid Summit with Daryl Eves, the founder of Vid Summit, who did the 24/5 live stream throughout the conference. We also talked to Claudia Barbiero, the VP of Marketing from LiveU, about LiveU's role, the LiveU Solo. So you can check those videos out and a lot more at rossbrand.tv. Also, livestreamuniverse.com/resources has a lot of gear. If I like this, I will add it to my recommended gear over on livestreamuniverse.com, livestreamuniverse.com/resources. And if you are interested in live streaming with the LiveU Solo, we have a special 10% off discount over at livestreamdeals.com. 10% off. Just click the big image toward the top of the homepage on livestreamdeals.com, and that'll immediately take 10% off of the total cost over in your Amazon cart. And you have, I think, until November 2nd, I believe it is, to go ahead and make that purchase. Hey, Nazim Beltran. Wow, you're up late, Nazim, joining us from over in Italy on Facebook. And Dan, Creator Fundamentals, has hopped on over to Creator Dan has hopped over to Instagram. I see Dan Norton hopping over to Facebook. Very nice. Kim Doyle. Yeah, welcome, Kim. Great to see you. We're talking about the Sony FDR-X3000. It's a little action cam. It is in its waterproof casing right now, but that's not really what I got it for. I'm going to take it out of that as soon as I figure out how. And so it's an unboxing of the Sony 4K camera. And this I learned about at Vid Summit. Daryl Eves, for his 24/5 live stream, used this. Really good quality audio and video without needing a lot of gear. It's light if you're carrying around IRL style a monopod or handheld tripod or whatever. Dan says the case is tricky. Tom says good. How's it? Okay, so basically that's it. That's it. I mean, if I could balance it, I could hold this with a pinky. It is so light. I mean, this is unbelievable, even compared to something like this, which is exceptionally light. I can't wait to use it in all different situations. So I will do another video or a blog post or something after I've tried it and let you know what I think. All the reviews are great. A lot of people that I know already are very high on this camera. Nazim says, great coverage over at Vid Summit on your part. Thanks, Nazim. Great to see Eduardo Guerra joining us from Mexico. Awesome to see you. Ran into Mario Armstrong from the Never Settle show. Actually got there just after he had finished up his speaking gig, but I wanted to make my way over and chat with him a little bit. So we'll see what's coming up next with the Never Settle show, but I know those guys are really excited coming off the Emmy win and looking forward to another season coming up. So again, if you want to check out the camera and you want to look it up yourself, it's the Sony FDR, like Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Sony FDR-X3000. This video and other unboxings you can find at rossbrand.tv, along, of course, with our videos from Vid Summit with Nick Nimmin and other videos recently added as well. Livestreamuniverse.com/resources, livestreamuniverse.com. Click the resources button for more of my favorite gear. And then over at livestreamdeals.com, exclusively towards the top of the homepage at livestreamdeals.com, you can save 10% on the great LiveU Solo, which we use for all of our live streams from Vid Summit. Let us go live in the most bandwidth challenge situation. Sorry. Trying to read two chats there. Tom says, have you looked into the LiveU remotes for that? So they look pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't really. It looks. I just saw online. It looks like a wristwatch basically, and you can monitor it there. From what I've heard, the phone app isn't perfect. It falls a little bit behind. But I'm not terribly concerned with monitoring. The thing is, this is a really wide view. So if you're kind of looking at the camera, if you have the camera in front of you, you're in the picture. And if you're shooting at 4K, you can crop it down to full HD and take out, a little more, and you can still have a good looking picture. Creator Fundamentals says, see instructions for the waterproof case above Ross. Okay, thank you, Dan. I'm going to have to check that out. So anyway, thanks everybody for joining. Got a new setup. I'm probably looking at Instagram more than I'm looking at Facebook this time, because I put the phone on a standing tripod instead of on a little desk tripod as I'm going to Facebook and Instagram. So the phone is on a standing tripod so that it'll be right over where the webcam for Facebook is. So I can more look at both at the same time and read both comments at the same time. But my eye definitely goes toward the Instagram one, which is higher, and it's just a sharper view looking at it on my phone versus looking at it on the BeLive interface. So Facebook video is finally being called out for sucking, Todd.Live says. Well, I think Facebook Live still has its place. I totally get. He says, I know that's a convo for another day. Yeah, I mean, I was going to go live about that yesterday, and then, I really listened to what Mike Stelzner had to say on the Social Media Examiner show. He makes a lot of good points. However, I don't know that for everybody's business or everybody's reason for going live, the short view duration time, your average view length of people watching, is necessarily your most important metric for your business. So you have to think about that. It's a big metric on YouTube because it has a lot to do with which videos are recommended. And we know 70% or more of the views on YouTube come from recommended videos. Facebook, the view times are a lot shorter than other places, but I still think there's a value in going live on Facebook. Todd says, totally agree with your comments just now, Russ. Thanks, Todd. So I still plan to do my shows on Facebook Live. I also think it's a good place to create videos. I use the BeLive platform because I can add lower thirds and switch shots. It makes it easy to get guests on. And so that video that I create through BeLive on Facebook, I'm getting a recording of the audio locally so I can make it into a podcast. But for repurposing the video on YouTube, on Instagram, posts and stories, and taking little clips and putting them on LinkedIn and elsewhere, and all the other ways that I use it, I think Facebook is a good place for video creation. It's not just about the live, and you get an active chat on Facebook and a lot of good questions. So while people may come and go, some people stay, and they're a big part of the community. And I want to continue going live on Facebook for people who enjoy watching the shows on Facebook and just are really long-time contributors to the show. Guests often have a bbig presence on Facebook and are happy to go live on Facebook and promote shows to their community. So there's a lot of different reasons when you're there. Todd says, dude, you were there when Paul Culligan shows us live stream versus podcast stats. I think very remarkable. Yeah, I mean, that's why I make a podcast out of all my long form shows. Like something like this, probably not going to make a podcast out of it, but live stream deals. Each guest segment becomes its own podcast. And then I cut up the videos and use them again. I also get a lot of views on the replay. Of course, those may not be long duration views. But he also did that test by recording something on Facebook Live, taking that recording and just uploading it as a podcast was one of the ways that he tested. There's no doubt that people stick with podcasts longer. So there's a value in that, but podcasts don't have the live engagement that Facebook Live has. You're not talking to your community and answering their questions, and we can't have this conversation, Todd, that we're having right now in a podcast. So even if I make a podcast out of this, I think it's a better podcast when I'm able to react to what people say in a live show, and then the listeners on the podcast get the benefit of that. So I'm excited about, continuing to do live streaming as content creation, and then and then make it into a podcast. And not all live streams, of course, lend themselves to a podcast. Doing IRL type stuff, probably not so much. But that's why I got this Sony cam, to make it easy to do IRL. And for stuff I'm not making into a podcast, I don't need all the audio gear to lug around. It's sort of like, the camera that you take with you is the best camera. And when a camera is this small and light and you can put in your pocket, you're more likely to be shooting when you're out and on the go than when you have to pack a ton of gear into a backpack. And then there's setup time and breakdown time, and there's wires. You've got to make sure that they're out of the way and everything else. So if I were to live stream with this, it's just an HDMI cable from the Sony camera right into the LiveU Solo, and then it's perhaps if I attach an external mic, it's just something that's handheld right on the camera, or maybe a lav mic or some type of mic that goes right into the camera. And the other thing you can do, which they did at Vid Summit, is they plugged this in and then they ran it into a battery pack that basically charged it for, wow, I think it gave them like 18 hours of charge. Dan Norton on Instagram says, can't wait to get a podcast going, likely in 2019. Todd said podcasting is great therapy for creators. Nice. Simple Beth says, realistically, I should just give up the idea of YouTube and do a podcast. Jay Garrett, good to see you. Jay joining us on Instagram. Stephanie Liu is here on Facebook Live. Hey, Stephanie, how are you? So we are checking out, Jay and Stephanie, we are checking out the Sony 4K action cam. Not really getting it for action sports so much as getting it to just have a really light camera that shoots in 4K and has a good built-in mic, so I don't have to carry around a lot of audio gear and just a lot of equipment and wires and things like that when I'm doing more, IRL style live streaming, or doing, interviews where I'm going from person to person and that kind of thing. And it, in fact, not only is this super light and small, but it's even smaller when you take it out of the waterproof casing. And even outside of the waterproof casing, it's splash resistant. So once I figure out how to get it out of that casing, yes. That's the thing about the unboxing. You never know, first of all, how hard it'll be to get the box open, what tools you might have needed to get the box open, and then also what you need to get the gear going. But it's really, really not much to it. Comes with this little tripod mount, but no tripod. So hopefully this fits onto a tripod if you want to do that. You've got a USB to micro or mini USB cable for charging it. And that's basically it. And they give you this nice little Sony Action Cam sticker, which you can do whatever you want to do with. and some instructions, and that's it. Just really cool, really simple. Cost of the camera, the video guy, TN asks, the camera costs about $400 is the cost of the camera. Yeah. And then you also need, if you don't have it, you need one of these bad boys. No, it's not 290, Todd. It's about 400. The one that's 290 is not 4K. So this one is just, you got to get the extreme card if you're recording 4K, because it's the one that's fast enough for that. So this card costs I think about $30, $32 for 64 gigabytes. Stephanie says friend was trying to talk her into the GoPro. Yeah, I mean, it depends what you're using it for. I mean, from the reviews that I've read, I've never used a GoPro. Hey, Rob from Thankific is here. Great to see you. What's going on, Rob? I've never used a GoPro, but you know, if you're really doing more, not so much action, but just IRL, and you want to use it also as another camcorder. I think the built-in audio is really good in this. The video looks really good. I can't compare it to the GoPro, but some people do call it a GoPro killer. David asks, Ross, do you have an Elgato Stream Deck? Wanting more info on one. I don't have a Elgato Stream Deck. Is that keys? Is that like the keys that you use to switch shots and stuff? My friends at Wirecast always laugh because I still do it with a mouse when I change shots. Devinder, what's up? Yeah, some new gear. Showing off the 4K Sony Action Cam, which is great for IRL live streaming or pretty much any kind of video. Really wide view too. Daniel says the newest GoPro looks amazing with the stabilization. Yeah, this has actually, I don't know if it's a electronic / digital stabilization. Easy for me to say that GoPro has. This actually has, I believe, optical stabilization, which is even better because it doesn't reduce the quality of the video. And I'm even pretty sure that this has stabilization for 4K, which the older ones don't have. I'm not arguing against the GoPro. I'm just, I saw this in action. I saw some videos and I said, this is what we gotta get. All right, great to see you, Rob. Let's Rob's other account. We got to catch up soon, and I will be sending you some info about live stream deals coming up on November 1st, if that's good for you to do that show between 7 and 8 p.m. Eastern. Good to see you, Rob. Yeah, David said the Elgato Stream Deck is another content creation controller. Yeah, so that's kind of where it's like setting up hotkeys on your keyboard, except instead of needing the keyboard, you've got it really right in front of you, and probably has the old handle for transitions and switching shots and things like that. Stephanie asked, can you live stream with it? Absolutely. I got this for live streaming 100%. So that I can just plug the camcorder right into the LiveU Solo, run an HDMI cord into the Solo, and I can go live pretty much from anywhere. Let's see. I saw another question. Oh, Christopher Nessie's here. Chris, how are you? Great to see you. So yeah, that's really what it is. Todd's got a jet. Good to see you, Todd. Todd.live. Check out all of his podcasts, his Instagram stuff. Good friend, great guy. Take care, Todd. Thanks for joining us. So this is it. This is the Sony 4K Action Cam. It's the Sony FDR-X3000. Thanks everybody for joining us on Instagram and on Facebook. And we'll catch you soon with more live streaming. Take care, everybody.